It's Nolan.
Now, before we get started, make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all sharing it on your respective platforms. Let somebody know what we're doing today. Now, let's get into the show.
Activate beast mode, I just hit cheat code. Gotta say niggas want Rico. Ayy, I was on TiVo, green dot reload. About to touch that like Tizo. Ayy, stunning like Steve-O, simple like free throw. Juice ain't color like Nigo. Ayy, whip got soup like miso. Ayy, nigga take L like default. Riding through the city, no gas. I be floating on the track, no rail. Okay. Never did art. I just need cheese for the craft for a front. I don't put it on tab. Never tell move smart. Hollywood to school with your dad. Now they got me saying rules in the class. Who's trying to do the part? Nigga walk smooth like Shaft. Wanna see me come through for the back. I got my 808 dumping when I'm cruising through the street. We surviving niggas riding, hit the spot like 10 deep. I need my squad on my back. We ain't no game, but they my peeps. I need like 20K at least. I'm just trying to keep the peace.
What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everybody's doing well out there this Saturday afternoon. Y'all know what we getting into, man. As we all know, we went through the whole Drake Amended filing the other day going up against UMG. One of the main things that stood out to me was definitely the fact that Joe Budden had been quoted in the lawsuit for the whole bot talk. Everybody was waiting to see if there was still going to be bot talk in the lawsuit. I told y'all it was going to be. A lot of people was like, no, they made an agreement. I'm telling you. I know, I saw that they had made the agreement. I saw that both parties had alluded to some sort of agreement of bot talk being taken out of the lawsuit. However, if you take the bot allegations out of the lawsuit in its entirety, they lose a lot of steam in their allegations, right? Because a lot of what they're asking for and investigating is for some sort of illegal practices to amplify Not Like Us, to make it, this egregious defamation onslaught on his character. And one of the ways that you prove some sort of nefarious conduct is by saying they deliberately promoted this through illegal and covert means, right? So if you take all that out, they lose a lot of their claims. So I knew that wasn't coming out. But I was very interested to see how Joe Budden himself was going to respond to this. Before I get into Joe Budden's response, though, we got to run it for the one time, man. Shout out to the tailor-made truthers.
Heard it on the Budden podcast, it's gotta be true. Heard it on the Budden podcast, it's gotta be true. Heard it on the Budden podcast, it's gotta be true.
Yo, my God. Heard it on the Budden podcast, it's gotta be true. Now, of course, in the lawsuit, the quote goes, y'all didn't know that Kendrick used bots? I thought everybody pretty much understood that Kendrick used bots. That's a part of the game plan in order to take Drake down. He also said, outside of the quote that they poached from his podcast, was, did y'all not know that Drake used bots too? It's a part of the program. I thought everybody used bots. Thought that was pretty much universally understood. So that's just him shooting off the hip, giving theories. Joe Budden podcast is filled with theories. These niggas did a whole year worth of theories. I think Drake owns ownership in this person's contract. I think he owns this person's contract. I think he may own this music. Him and Larry Jackson over there at Gamma got ownership stake in this person's music. That's why Rick Ross is mad. He smashed this person, baby mama. He done did this. He done did that. All of this stuff is just theories of them having basically barbershop talk on camera. But all of a sudden, it's being used as some sort of legal reference in order to make UMG look bad. But yet we're supposed to believe these niggas know what they doing. Okay. And that's not to take up for Joe Budden in any type of way. But if a person is just shooting off the hip, coming up with shit on the fly without privileged information, what are we to do with that information? It's just podcast talk. But now it's supposed to be legally binding? I know Drake ain't graduate from high school, but come the fuck on, bro. You know, I guess proper talk doesn't make you intelligent after all. Especially when you're contradicting your own recordings. You made it seem like they couldn't be seen as credible then, but now they're supposed to be credible now. Okay. But nonetheless, let's get into Joe Budden and Cole's response. Of course, as with all Joe Budden clips and things of that nature, we can't run them on the channel because he runs a tight ship over there. I believe he's in partnership with Quarter Labs or something like that, which is a content identification company that will come claim your shit and block your shit for using their audio visual content. So we can only go for the audio. All right. So here's what they have to say.
Oh, wow. I did see they quoted Joe.
Us.
Really?
No,
Probably JBP.
No.
They quoted Joe Budden.
They quoted Joe Budden.
Do you happen to know what that quote was?
JAB.
From the JBP, though.
JAB.
With all of us. That was the episode all us was in, y'all.
Oh, so now we're all your Codes in this one too?
No, we ain't.
Oh.
But
Cody's in this
It was
one, too.
mostly in regards to the Super Bowl performance, right? The amendments?
No parts.
No, not all
Read
of
it for
it.
yourself.
They a lot of they took out some of the botting stuff, like
Okay.
the claim of botting.
Because everyone's doing that.
Yeah. The part that really stands out to me, and I'm just curious. So they used Joe's quote of
Admitting.
I know Kendrick used bots.
Yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh.
This is where it gets tricky. Because if you're using this and you're saying that was a factual statement that he made on the show,
Yeah.
so are you saying everything on the show is a factual statement?
Right.
It's not.
No, but because you yourself on Tailor Made, as Pac says, talk about them liking young girls. I heard it on the Joe Budden podcast. It's got to be true.
Thank you.
And that's your whole claim is, hey, what was said, I mean, these claims about me are not true. Mm-hmm. So if you get what I'm
You
saying?
can't have it both ways is what you're saying.
Yeah, like I just read that and I'm like, well, dog, is what's said true or not?
Drake, I hate to
play.
refer to the tag you, but I was just talking. Hey, I was just talking shit, big dog. I'm just getting some engagement going. Hey, not nobody on Universal done text me, called me, paid me. They didn't give me the scoop. I was just up here running my mouth.
Man, they got
it ain't no deeper than that, Drake.
All the reaction videos, tweets, like they have all of this shit.
I'm with you. I think
evidence.
that bots was in play. But for me to say that factually,
Can't.
sorry, buddy. But subpoena me. Shit.
I think bots have been in
I
play.
love nothing more than to come up to court. show my face, see what's going on.
Had that shit on.
Hey,
And
what?
in that case, though,
And have the scoop first.
Yeah.
It'll be me and Meg Cutliff, whatever her name is. Me and my girl. Let me take the stand.
Ain't that some shit there? This nigga said subpoena me, so I have to show up so I can get the inside scoop just to come back to the Joe Budden podcast and talk some more shit. I know that's motherfucking right. You know what I'm saying? This is the thing, man. This is all entertainment, buddy. This is what you do. Every time you come out the house, every time you get your hair rebraided, every time you goddamn throw on that stupid ass outfit in your mirror, every time you do the Zoolander duck face, every time one of your niggas from your team come out looking triggered, every time y'all do some dumbass shit, you know that it's going to be ran through the press. You do it for that reason. You're so afraid of people not talking about you that you'll go to any length to make sure that you're a topic. Now you're trying to use falsehoods and make them fit into some, you know what I'm saying? You're trying to catty corner some shit that's not going to fit. The Joe Budden podcast, you still got streamers in this motherfucker. You got Poetic Flacco tweets in that motherfucker, man. Come on, dog. Poetic Flacco don't know a motherfucking thing about hip-hop. Let's be clear. And that ain't no diss. You know what I'm saying? He's good at stirring up shit, You know what I mean? He's on that Adam 22, No Jumper, Poetic Flago don't know a motherfucking thing about hip hop, man. Why would y'all use him as a source for anything? Y'all using Drake stand pages as resources for, oh, there was some strange activity going on Spotify. When we searched for some sexy songs for you, nothing sexy showed up. Y'all weird, bro. And I understand you're trying to find any possible angle that you can to get the upper hand on UMG, but a lot of this stuff is absolutely ridiculous.
Stupid.
See what up?
Joe go there, act the ass on that thing.
Oh, man. And then UMG replied and said, hey, Discovery works both ways, so be careful. And then Drake's lawyers replied and said, nigga, shut the fuck up.
Suck my dick.
Yeah, we don't give a fuck what you talking about. Juicy.
Tyree.
I was just going to say, I'm so over this shit, bro.
Do I think he's going to win? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think he is, but what do I know? There's rumors going around about settlements and
like if he settles, he wins.
Not necessarily.
Crazy as hell. If they get that nigga some money in a settlement, he wins.
What did he win? But some money.
Money.
Or if yeah, he could.
That's what he doing now. He's suing him for money.
My goal could be to get out of this shit.
I think the money is the secondary thing.
My independence. That could be my goal.
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
If I negotiate that using all of this, then yeah, he wins. It ain't necessarily got to be the money. It could be I want to get the fuck away from y'all.
Whatever. I don't know what his
with
objective
my status
is.
Of who I am.
I don't know what his end game is.
The number floating at the settlement number that's floating around is 200 to 250
million,
which is a false.
And I think he turned it down, right?
I don't know. We just speculating. I don't know shit.
I don't know about no settlement.
I don't know nothing. Yo, do not listen to me as it pertains to any of this lawsuit
Legal shit.
I just think it's fun to fucking kick the shit about at work.
For sure. But you end up in there. I don't know.
If he ends up in there, he could say refer to the tag in the front.
Yeah, but let me say it on the stand. Subpoena me.
That nigga Joe, I don't know how you
put
do
that shit on.
So you can wear that Balenciaga.
Yo, put that.
Pull up, drive
if you subpoena me, I will tell you what I know.
Put that. I mean, you gotta have a night. Yo, don't.
Oh yeah, we'll all pull up.
Don't go buy no shirt, yo.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I don't know.
Group outing.
Joe gotta do that shit on his
That
own.
collar gotta stand up like this.
Yeah.
Now, what I'm curious about, and I know this is bullshit. I know this probably has no legal merit or standing, but let's say Joe Budden does get subpoenaed. Do we then go back and have to play his old diss tracks on Drake ass in court? Is that relevant? All my legal professionals out there, would that be of any legal relevance? Because I would love to hear him flaming his ass up over the goddamn court speaker and them having the goddamn court reporter having to transcribe all them disses of that nigga getting his abs sculpted. You know what I'm saying? Your party next door and all that shit that nigga was saying way back then. Canceling your party next door. But again, all of us are just shooting this shit, man. I mean, outside of what's written in black and white on that paperwork, outside of, quoting people for what it is that they said and all of that stuff, which we do a lot of that over here. But as it pertains to, what we think is going to happen or what seems like it's possible, nobody knows. And that's why I've always said, I don't think he's going to win, but I could be fucking flabbergasted and surprised. It is what it is. At the end of the day, it ain't my money. It ain't my issue. But it seems that he's trying his best to make it content creators' issues by having people from the community having their words quoted all throughout his legal issues. Seemed like a big, fat, hot pan of bullshit to me. But that's just me, man. So, over here they did quote UMG, or they referenced UMG. They didn't really quote him. And Drake's lawyers also fired back with a response. I never got to cover Drake's spokesperson response. I find it very interesting that they use the word spokesperson, but of course there's no actual name to coincide with the spokesperson. But let's just address it real quick, all in one sweet little piece, right? So going back to UMG, they claim Drake has no chance to win this case, all right? So they say, don't tell a lie on me, I won't tell the truth about you. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what UMG came out and said. Okay, so in the full statement, UMG reads, Drake, unquestionably one of the world's most accomplished artists, and with whom we've enjoyed a 16-year successful relationship, is being misled by his legal representatives into taking one absurd legal step after another. In Texas last November, his counsel instituted a legal proceeding with much fanfare and bluster. On Monday, they quietly dropped the case. They said, we took a win while y'all been out here celebrating. In New York in January, Drake's counsel filed a defamation lawsuit, fearful of being sanctioned by the court for certain false allegations. Tonight, they amended the complaint to withdraw them, only to add more baseless allegations. 2 weeks ago, his representative celebrated a win, the granting of a routine discovery motion. That win will become a loss if this frivolous and reckless lawsuit is not dropped in its entirety, because Drake will personally be subject to discovery as well. As the old saying goes, be careful what you wish for, or psst, there's something you don't want to do. Ooh. Both the Texas and New York proceedings are an affront to all artists and creative expression. Should his legal representative senselessly keep the New York lawsuit alive, we will demonstrate that all remaining claims are without merit. It is shameful that these foolish and frivolous legal theatrics continue. They are reputationally and financially costly to Drake and have no chance of success. They hit you with that motherfucking Shane McMahon. No chance. No chance in hell. You got no chance. Hit you with that old school attitude era, bitch. So Drake and his legal representatives or spokesperson, they didn't take too kindly to UMG's statement. And of course, they're having a paperwork war in the actual docket, but now they're also having a public statement war. They're having a PR war at the same time, because now they're releasing statements, hurling insults back and forth, although they really could just be keeping it to the docket and letting the facts tell the truth. They're trying to beat each other to the punch to be, social media savvy at the same time. So they state, this is Drake's reps, they say UMG's latest statement is a desperate attempt to spin the narrative and deflect from the truth. Drake is holding the largest music conglomerate in the world accountable for its actions, and doing so without fear. We dismissed the Texas discovery action because discovery will now proceed in New York. Okay, so they saying, hey, we no longer were pursuing the Texas issue because we're going all in on the federal, which they really should have been going all in on to begin with, because they found absolutely nothing in Texas. That shit was a waste of time, energy, resources, and the paper it was printed with, or the computers it was typed upon. But that's just my opinion. Okay? They say that's not retreat, that's victory. No, that wasn't victory. You dropped it. UMG dismissed its First Amendment petition in Texas because it has no claim. That's losing. What? I could have swore the First Amendment piece was a response to your petition. If you drop it, why would I continue to fight you in a dropped petition? And I know there's people gonna be out there that like, man, why are you taking up for UMG? I'm not taking up for UMG. I don't fuck with UMG all that much. They got some shady shit going on. But I've always said it. If we're gonna talk about people going against UMG, let's talk about people who have actually lost money, actually lost assets, actually lost their careers due to being mishandled at the label. Let's not talk about the biggest artist or one of the biggest artists in the fucking world throwing a temper tantrum, and let's get behind that. If you want to do that, that's your personal choice. You have the right to do that. You could goddamn ask to be a media personnel at the fucking trial if they get there. It means nothing to me. Anyway, they say, and UMG knows the case against it is only getting stronger. I cannot attest to that. They say Drake welcomes discovery and has nothing to hide. I don't know if he got nothing to hide now. Some of the stuff that's circulating on social media, which I am choosing not to cover and choosing not to dive into because we're talking about bodies on bodies on bodies, so they say. I don't want nothing to do with that shit, but it would seem homie got something to hide. But that's not for me to speak on. They say it's not Drake who should worry. It's UMG's current leadership. Okay. Well, what about that time he had to put money out for an open K? Whatever. We look forward to hearing from Lucian Grainge, John Janik, and UMG employees under oath. You want them to come out and have to speak to what they know? I'll tell you what, they've been in business with that nigga longer than y'all have. But I shall continue. UMG claims to stand for creativity, but in fact exploits it, and the artist community knows that. You sign up to be exploited when you sign a record contract. I got to be fair about that piece. Now, the level of exploitation that they place upon you, I don't think is always fair, but you get what you negotiate, not what you deserve. They say that all the time. UMG drains artists for his profits, then discards them. Drake joins a growing chorus of artists raising questions about UMG's leadership. The public and artists should be concerned about recent headlines involving UMG's largest stakeholder that only reinforces the need for transparency all the way up to the board of directors level. Now, what I find to be interesting here is you want people to go and investigate the stakeholders. I don't know shit about them stakeholders. You know what I'm saying? And UMG is not questioning the stakeholders where to get their money from. Spotify ain't asking where UMG getting their money from. They know it's coming off of record sales. You know what I'm saying? So y'all keep trying to switch the narrative. Oh, UMG is a shady company. Okay. So if UMG is so shady, then why is it that y'all are only looking at the stakeholder, which is people investing in the company? If your strongest allegation is about who invests into me rather than what I've actually done, you don't have very strong of a case. That's just like saying, I know who you are because of your friend. On the surface, it looks that way, but don't associate me with what that motherfucker do. If that nigga smoke crack in his privacy, you can't say, hey, you smoke crack too. No, the fuck I don't. I ain't know that nigga was on that shit, man. We link up on Wednesdays and Saturdays. What that motherfucker do every other day of the week ain't got shit to do with me. If I knew that nigga was on crack, maybe I would be trying to help him. But that nigga been wearing it very well, okay? Don't put that shit on me. God damn it. Just saying, just logically speaking, I understand there's certain things, but you can't hold me accountable for what this person do. Now, you might say, well, if this person is getting money off of illicit means, illegal means, and investing into you, yeah, you can be investigated for that, you know, to say, all right, your company is being audited for all of the money that's coming from this group of people over here because all of their money is coming from illegal means. That makes sense. And if that's what y'all want to do, cool. But again, that is a totally different argument than what Drake is talking about. Drake is talking about being defamed. Drake is talking about being lowballed in a contract negotiation in which he is not entitled to anything in a contract negotiation. If I say I'm willing to give you $5 and you want 10, Your responsibility is to say, bitch, I'm gonna go get 10 elsewhere if you ain't gonna offer me 10. And a nigga can say, well, go get it then, nigga. Go get 10, bitch. That is how a negotiation work. Or we could say, I really got 5. You want 10, I give you 7. And you say, nah, motherfucker, I want 10. Okay, walk 10 toes about that bit then, motherfucker. Don't sue me. But again, the Drake fans, they don't understand. UMG said, be careful what you ask for. Drake knows exactly what he asked for. The truth and accountability. Those are 2 strong words that go in all directions. The truth and accountability. Now, the last time Universal came out to speak, they had that, that filing for dismissal to back up why it should be dismissed. And they started talking about all of the different times that Drake was purportedly seen as, a weird guy. We'll just say that. So if they're forced to defend themselves and have to dig further into those stories, which who would be more privy to the goings-ons of those stories than the company that puts money into you? Intimately. We're not talking about shareholders. We're talking about Lucian Grange accepted you as damn near his son. Okay? Said you have an unlimited budget. Drake gets whatever he asks for. We do whatever Drake needs. That is a very different relationship than somebody saying, hey, you have a very successful conglomerate over there. We're going to pour money into you. You know what I mean? Now, make us happy by making us more money. That's one thing. But for a motherfucker to embrace you into his home and be like, this motherfucker is a made man because of whatever we got going on. Yeah, I'm quite sure they probably have made quite a bit of shit disappear to keep his name squeaky clean, because he keep himself in some shit. So all I can say is we'll be tuned the fuck in to see what comes out. All right? Probably should have kept it wrapped, but that ain't got nothing to do with me. Let me know what y'all think about all this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, Become an Insider. I will catch y'all on the next one. I can hear it now. You're a hater. You're a Drake hate channel, J Nolan. No, the fuck I ain't, nigga. I'm just expressing my opinion. It's not rooted in hate. It's rooted in how I see things. If you see it differently, more power to you. Salute. I'll catch you later. Peace, y'all.
King of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like soldier rags. Leading my people like quarterback. Boy, I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda. We hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef for computers, I'm straight out the sewer. We come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. With drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they doubted me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I've been dropping these haters like calories. Cross them out, I came back with some boundaries. Stand for my honor, but too raw, no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. Wanna catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.